If your garden soil dries into hard plates, cracks like a desert floor, and feels impossible to dig after a few hot days, you've probably been told the same thing over and over. That soil is bad, you need to replace it. I used to believe that too, but here's the truth most gardeners never hear. Cracked clay soil isn't dead soil. In fact, beneath that tough surface lies one of the most nutrient-dense soil types on Earth. When understood and managed correctly, clay soil can outperform sandy soils, bagged mixes, and even many raised beds over the long term. Clay isn't your enemy, it's misunderstood power waiting to be unlocked. Let's dig into why. Clay soil cracks because of its structure, not because it's lifeless. Clay particles are extremely small, far smaller than sand or silt. When wet, they swell and hold water tightly. When dry, they shrink and pull apart, forming those dramatic cracks that scare gardeners. But those cracks are actually evidence of something important: high mineral content. Clay soils form from weathered rock over long periods of time. That process concentrates minerals like calcium, magnesium, potassium, iron, and trace elements plants need for healthy growth. Unlike sandy soil, where nutrients wash away with every watering, clay holds onto nutrients with a powerful grip. In other words, clay doesn't leak fertility, it stores it. The problem isn't what clay has, the problem is how air, water, and roots move through it. Clay particles carry a negative electrical charge. This matters because most essential plant nutrients are positively charged: calcium, magnesium, potassium, ammonium. These nutrients stick to clay like magnets. This property, called cation exchange capacity, is what makes clay soil a long-term fertility bank. In practical terms, this means that when you add compost, manure, mulch, or organic fertilizers to clay soil, those nutrients don't disappear. They accumulate. Season after season, your soil becomes richer instead of poorer. Gardeners with sandy soil often have to feed constantly. Gardeners with clay soil who manage it well eventually feed less and harvest more. That's the hidden advantage no one talks about. If clay is so fertile, why do plants struggle in it? The issue isn't nutrients, it's oxygen and drainage. When clay soil is compacted, the tiny spaces between particles, well, they just collapse. Water fills those spaces, air gets pushed out, and roots, they end up suffocating. Beneficial microbes slow down, worms disappear, the soil hardens like concrete. This leads gardeners to assume the soil is dead when in reality it's just locked up. The solution isn't replacing the soil, it's reopening it. The fastest way to ruin clay soil is to fight it mechanically, rototilling wet clay, walking on it repeatedly, or constantly digging it when conditions are wrong compresses it further. Every time you do this, you squeeze out air and destroy soil structure. Another common mistake is mixing sand into clay. This sounds logical, but it often creates something closer to brick than soil. Clay plus sand without organic matter equals hardness, not drainage. Clay needs biology, not force. Organic matter is the key that unlocks clay's potential. When compost, leaf mold, aged manure, or mulch breaks down, it feeds soil organisms. These organisms, fungi, bacteria, earthworms, create aggregates, tiny clumps that hold clay particles apart. This creates pore spaces where water drains slowly, air moves freely, and roots grow deeply. Over time, clay soil becomes crumbly instead of cloddy. The change doesn't happen overnight, but it's permanent. Each season of organic input improves the soil instead of resetting it. This is why no-dig and mulch-heavy systems work exceptionally well on clay. Those cracks you see during dry weather aren't failures, they're openings. They allow oxygen deep into the soil profile. They let water penetrate quickly during rain. They give roots channels to explore deeper layers where moisture and nutrients remain long after surface soil dries out. In fact, many deep-rooted plants thrive in clay once established because the soil holds moisture far below the surface. That's resilience sandy soils rarely offer. Rather than panicking when clay cracks, smart gardeners work with the cycles, mulching heavily before extreme heat and letting nature do the rest. Clay protects microbial life. Because clay holds moisture and nutrients, it creates a stable environment for beneficial microbes. Once organic matter is present, microbial populations explode. These microbes break down minerals, unlock nutrients, and feed plants through natural exchanges that, honestly, no synthetic fertilizer can replicate. This is why older clay gardens often outperform younger, lighter soils. Over time, clay turns into a biological engine. Your job is to feed the system, not overpower it. When clay soil is biologically active, it grows incredible crops. Fruit trees anchor deeply and resist drought. Tomatoes develop thick stems and, honestly, intense flavor. Brassicas thrive on the mineral richness. Leafy greens stay lush longer into dry spells. Even crops that struggle initially often explode in growth after their roots break through the compacted layer and tap into deeper reserves. Clay rewards patience with abundance. Here's the mindset shift every gardener with clay soil needs to make. Unsadan, mo. You don't fix clay, you activate it. Stop trying to make it behave like sand. Stop stripping it out. Stop fighting its nature. Instead, cover it, feed it, and protect it. Let organic matter build. Let roots and microbes do the work. Let seasons transform it. Over time, what once felt like a curse becomes your garden's strongest foundation. If your soil cracks, hardens, and, really challenges you, you're not failing, you're actually standing on a hidden nutrient powerhouse that most gardeners would truly love to have, if they just understood it. Clay soil is not beginner soil, but, honestly, it is master gardener soil. It rewards those who work with biology, patience, and observation. And once it turns the corner, it produces like nothing else. If this article helped you see your soil differently, make sure to subscribe to Soil Power, share this with a fellow gardener struggling with clay, and hey, keep growing smarter, not harder. Your soil already has the power, you just need to unlock it.